Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. MA Lyman 24. Deeply appreciated. Tonight we're going to have a special guest, Diggin with 7 and Tennessee Jeff. So stay tuned. We're going to have them calling up in a little bit. But right now, just let me pull up my chat real quick, turn the volume down before I get blasted out, and let me do a couple quick mail calls. Do we have anybody in the chat yet? Hey, Diggin with Deej, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, hon. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, Tim Holmes is in the house. How you doing, Tim? Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. Hey, Stephen Hull's in the house. What's up, Steve? I saw those new pictures of those the pendant and the button you cleaned up. Looks good. Awesome. Pull Tab Commando. What's up there, Big Nug? What's happening? You getting good finds lately? I forgot to text you my last couple of them. It'll be posted Wednesday. You'll see it. Unless you saw it on Facebook already. I posted one thing. Hey, Randy Collins is in the house. Thanks for stopping by, Randy. Appreciate it. Hey, Randy Collins. How you doing? All right, real quick from It's Me, Brian. Actually, it's not It's Me, Brian no more. He had his channel taken away. He had over 1,000 subscribers, I think 1,300. And they pulled his channel. But now he has a channel called Brian Wilkinson. So if you get a chance, head on over to Brian Wilkinson's channel and get him subbed. Hey, Diggin with 7's in the house. How you doing, 7? Ozzy's in the house. How you doing, Ozzy? Very nice. So if you guys get a chance, check out Brian Wilkinson. He, like I said, he had his channel taken away. He's starting over from fresh, so show him some love. But he sent me a bunch of coins from around the world. I appreciate it, Brian. I'll go through these later and add them to my collection. He gave me another bag of wheat cents to go through. Looking for errors and any kind of things on them. Thank you, Brian. As well as a 1968 Kennedy half and a Benjamin Franklin 1959. Thank you, Brian. Deeply appreciated. All right. The other mail call I have real quick is got my Green Mountain Metal Detecting coffee mug in the house with me tonight. But I lost my Stealth Diggers bracelet. Hey, part-time detector Amy, how you doing? So I had to order another one. So I ordered up 2 so I can give one to Ricky. So we got a couple of new Stealth Digger bracelets. I give one to Ricky. Got some stickers. Got a couple of tokens. I have to give one to him, one of these to him as well. As well as my new blue Stealth Digger shirt. Thank you, Charlie. All right. Real quick, I want to thank everybody for joining in on those Copper Round giveaways I'm having every Friday. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of participation. So I'll be doing that from now until Christmas. So tune in every week. Leave a comment on which one you would like if your name is picked. And if it's still available, you'll win it. Alrighty. Now we're just going to wait on 7 to give me a call when he has a chance. I know it's still a little early yet. But after, like I said, you guys go back to Friday's live stream and just leave a comment on it. If your name is picked, which one of these you would like. The SLQ, Stand in Liberty Copper Round, or the Walk in Liberty Copper Round. And I'll be picking a winner for that this Friday. And showing you what the next 2 copper rounds on the block are going to be. Alrighty? Awesome. Pop this in my home. That one. I guess I could show you now. I will wait till later. What else we got? I think that was it. Anybody out there digging today? I was, for some reason I got home after work last night. I went back to that 1726 house, that the first house in my town here. Oh, we'll get back to that later. I think we got 7 calling up now. Yes, it is. Hello, 7. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How about you, Mike?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I got a little sick last night. Didn't feel well this morning, but I'm feeling a lot better now tonight. So I'm glad you were able to make it tonight and call in and get in the chat with us. You got Tennessee Jeff with you too?
Yes, Mike, I am here.
Awesome, Jeff. Good to see you again, sir. Nice chatting with you.
Sorry, it's nice chatting with you.
But Lloyd, we'll start this off real quick. I was always curious after watching all your videos and the lessons you give. How long have you actually been in this hobby?
I started in 1975 or 6. I believe it was 1975.
Oh my God. So that's like 35 years or so.
It's a long time. It's a long time. That's why Jeff and all of them call me the old man.
Oh man. and
I was born in '76, so he was started in '75. So he's been 41 years, or 43 years. So
wow.
he's been detecting longer than I've been alive. So.
Oh my God.
Commando said that I'm the guy that cleaned out all of his spots. I don't know that I did that unless you live around in southern Kentucky, but I've cleaned out a few of them.
Yes, I seen that. Then what was your very first detector that you now? Well, actually, what got you into the hobby? Seeing somebody else do it, or just had the hunch one day to go out and buy one and start it up, or?
I went into a pawn shop one day, and there was an old Whites, and forgive me, I don't remember what brand it was. It had one of the concentric coils, and it only had one tone was all that you had. Didn't have any kind of meter or anything on it. And I thought it'd be neat to get it. I didn't know how to run it, so I just turned it on and didn't have any discrimination or anything. And there was an old school right across from my house, and I probably dug 50 silver coins in about 2 hours with that thing.
Oh my God! So is that when people first started getting into the hobby then, or?
Yeah, that was when first. You know, there were people back in the '60s that were doing it, but a few more people got in the '70s, but and then from then on, I tell you what, guys, in the last 10 years, I've seen more people come into detecting than any other decade that I know of.
And what do you contribute that to? Do you think?
Probably all of the media that we have now, and diggers on television, people seeing those guys dig, and then everybody on social media, if you got Facebook or any of those things, Snapchat, you're going to see somebody that has found something other. YouTube, they're going to share it. And I think that YouTube is probably a big thing,
Oh yeah, like you see, just thousands and millions of videos on there. And when you first started up, did you go out by yourself, or did you join a club, or did you have somebody else interested in the hobby with you, or?
No, wasn't any clubs around at the time, and I just went out by myself. And I pretty well hunted by myself until probably in the '90s, I would say, because I just didn't have anybody around. Here in Kentucky, and I started out in Texas, and then I moved to Kentucky in probably '77, and just wasn't anybody here that metal detected. And then I found a buddy of mine, and he metal detect, and so we started doing it a little bit, off and on. We didn't hunt together all the time. And then I had the good fortune a few years ago to get hooked up with Tennessee Jeff, and been history ever since.
Awesome.
I don't know how fortunate that was, but I appreciate that.
I think it's fortunate. Jeff's the best hunter I've ever hunted with, and he's very knowledgeable about it. He and I, we kind of like the same things, and we get along well, and it's he just makes it a lot of fun. And I'd hate to go back to hunting by myself now.
Have you been out by yourself recently, or no?
Yeah, me and him right now, things are not working out for both of us to be able to get together. We actually live an hour and a half apart, and so it's not worked out where we can get together. Of course, the time of the year, too, we don't hunt together a whole lot in the summer because you've only got, like an hour or two in the morning before it gets too hot, and it's not worth me driving there or him driving up here to hunt for an hour and a half. So, but as fall comes and everything kind of opens up, I think that we'll get back on our schedule. But November, late October, November, December, January, February, early March, those are our big hunting times.
Okay. Nice. Now, when you started off, what kind of properties did you hunt mainly?
Mainly hunted schools and churches, and a few yards. People that I knew, they would say, well, come hunt my yard.
Oh, nice.
But then I kind of got into the relic mode when I found my first flat button, and I don't know, the relics just have more history. I mean, coins have been in circulation. You have no idea how many millions of people have touched those. But a relic is generally belong to one person. And, you'd find something other, you do a little bit of research on it, and sometimes you're lucky enough to find a name. And that just appeals to me more than, than coin shooting.
Right.
I love to find coins when I can, but, I'd rather find the relics.
Now, how about you, Jeff? What year did you actually start hunting in the hobby?
Let's see, I started, it was probably around, like 2010, something like that, 2009. And what got me into it, it was, I don't know if you watch it, it was a show that comes on, I think, Discovery, called Gold Rush. And me and a friend of mine, we were sitting at work, and it was like, man, I'd like to do that. And then we got into talking about metal detectors. And he said, well, I bought my kids some metal detectors a few years ago for Christmas, and they'd never used them. And I got that metal detector, and so I took and went out and I found my first flat button, and then I was hooked. So I haven't been doing it as long as Seven has.
So were you a big history buff before that, or no?
No, I was not. I mean, I didn't think anything about it. And I mean, I was a tobacco farmer for a long time, and there's no telling how many relics I've plowed up over the years and not paid any attention to them. And as soon as I started metal detecting and finding this old history, that's when I become a history buff.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now, what year did you guys finally end up meeting?
I don't know. When was it, Jeff? It's probably been 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, at least 4 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going through the videos earlier and trying to find some information on some relics that I found, and then, of course, there were so many videos of us that I couldn't find it. So it's been at least 4 years.
Did you guys meet at like a group hunt or something, or?
No. Whenever I first started for a stretch on my YouTube channel, I was doing shout-outs to different channels and everything, kind of what DK does, only on a limited basis. I would just do a shout-out and tell everybody about somebody's channel. And I'd watched Tennessee Jeff, and I loved his channel, loved what he did. And I gave him a shout-out, and then we kind of got connected up like that. And he started commenting on my videos, and I started commenting all the time on his. And he invited me up. And the first time that I went up there, I believe that it's me and you and Hornbush, wasn't it?
I'm not for sure. I believe it was on the infantry camp.
May have been. And went up there, and then we just started. I mean, it just kind of started from there because we both like Civil War hunting, and we both like colonial relic hunting. I'm probably more of a colonial relic hunter. Jeff, his expertise is more in the Civil War hunting, but we both like each one, and he's better at finding the Civil War places, and I'm better at finding the colonial sites and everything.
Nice.
But that's kind of how we got together.
Oh, so sounds like a great pair then. You do a little bit of everything then.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a great relationship that we have, and of course he puts up with my sense of humor a lot of times. So that's good. A lot of people doesn't really get my sense of humor, but he does, and then we just pick on each other all the time.
Nice.
It's Seven. I mean, he, like you said, he'd hunted colonial sites for quite a while, and I'd had several farms to hunt that I would just walk over a trashy area looking for a Civil War site, and then of course when me and him met, we started looking for the colonial sites, and I was like, well, I'll run over this trashy place over here like 3 or 4 years ago. And then sure enough, we'd go to that trashy area, and then we'd run into a colonial site. And then I got to paying attention, how to look for colonial sites. And, of course, he's helped me a lot with my colonial site. And, I mean, it's worked out well.
Jeff was talking about sense of humor, Mike. At the end of our videos, when we do a hunt together and it's full day hunt and everything, well, we will go ahead and do what we call a sit down, and we'll find us a log or an old fallen tree or something, and we'll sit there and we just recap the hunt and talk about it and everything, you know. And he was talking one day. He said that his back was bothering him. Of course, he has back problems. And he said his back was bothering him. And I said, yeah, my hips bother me too. And we're filming all the time now. And I said, yeah, my hips hurting me today. And he said, well, it ought to. He said, it's 100 years old. It's just things like that, you know, that make you like the guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Actually, someone in the chat said earlier there, Seven, that you used to go metal detecting with Lewis and Clark.
That would be Mark Hoover. Mark Hoover is a good friend of ours, isn't he, Jeff?
He sure is. He's helped us a lot on our Relics radio, and I mean, he is a great friend. So.
Is that the Adventures in History I see in the chat?
Yeah, that's the Adventures in History.
Awesome.
And he books a lot of shows for us too.
Oh,
we
nice.
call him our booking agent. He's just really a good friend, and he knows a lot of people in the metal detecting world, and he'll reach out to us. And well, actually, we've got a group chat page that we just all chat back and forth during the week, and he'll say, hey, what about getting so-and-so? And I'll say, well, you know, I don't know him. He said, I know him. I'll holler at him, you know.
Nice.
And so that's how that relationship, isn't it funny, the relationships that we build in this hobby?
You got to love it. You got to love it.
It sure is. It's funny. It was funny the other day in our little chat. You were talking. He was like, "Well, I would like a pay raise," and then you was like, "Well, just double your salary right now."
Yeah, just double what you're making right now, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Jeez. Now, Loy, when did you decide to start up with your radio talk show and stuff?
Actually, me and Jeff talked about doing some live YouTube stuff like this, and bought most of the equipment. I got most of the equipment that we would need to do that, and then I found some of the podcasts, the metal detecting podcast, and whenever I drive back and forth to Nashville quite a bit, and I realized that, you know, I couldn't watch a YouTube live chat or anything or live stream while I was driving, but I could listen to a podcast. And so I talked to Jeff about it, and I said, you know, I think we ought to just try a podcast. And he said, yeah. We joke around with each other that we've got faces for radio, so that's why you don't have any video of us on here tonight. But we got that idea, and it took off, and we've had a marvelous year. We're coming up on a 1-year anniversary in November, and it's just been a marvelous year for us. All the guests that we've had have made our show what it's been.
Awesome. Awesome.
They sure have, and it's amazing. After we started this, the people that we've met and as many friends that we've made just doing this podcast, it's unreal. It really is.
I know this has got to be the year that I think I met more people in the hobby than the first two. It's just incredible the amount of collaborations I did this year. It's so much fun getting together with other YouTubers and just the camaraderie of it, you know.
Yeah, and I seen you know, you texted me Saturday whenever you and Stephen Hull were out hunting and made some great finds. I tell you what, my mouth was watering. Jeff, they had a 1798, a Drake bust, large thin, and then Mike found a beautiful, beautiful shoe buckle, the colonial shoe buckle. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny there, Lloyd? When I went first, I found the outside frame first, and then I went on a straight line, and somehow I veered off, and about 50 feet later, I came across a ton and shape, and I laid it in there, and it has to be the one for that buckle.
Yeah, I seen when y'all laid it in there. And me and Stephen Hull's got something in common. We're both musicians, so we've got something in common.
Yes, I heard you're quite the steel guitar player.
Well, play a little bit of everything. In fact, I've got some of my soundtracks and everything where I do everything. I do the keyboards and bass and guitar. I'm a lead guitar player by trade and still do a little bit of studio work, but not a whole lot anymore. But yeah, Steven he's an accomplished speaker and singer.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw one of his Music Mondays videos he put up on the Facebook there. It was really good. He has some nice guitars too. Did you belong in any big band names or?
About 100. Yeah.
He has some good stories. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've about 100
Wow.
in my lifetime. I started out. I was born and raised in Lubbock, Texas, and that was a music town. It was more of a music town than Nashville was at the time, but it was a music town for guitar players. And you hooked up there, and then in the summer, of course, I was a young man. I couldn't do it during the school year, but I played with the house band at a place called the KLL, which was a radio station, KLL Hootenanny, and it was a Friday and Saturday night. And back then, they would bring all of the major artists in, and they wouldn't bring their bands. And the artists would come in, and we would play for them. And then there was a guy that owned KLL by the name of Sky Corbin, and then he would hook us up with one of those acts to tour with during the summer months. So, yeah, I've toured with a lot of people and been a member of a lot of different bands and everything, over the years. But I tell you what, having a band is it's a grueling experience because you got so many personalities. And you're on the road quite a bit together, and it's just hard to keep those things together. Well, you see all the good bands that have broken up over the years, and it's just because it's so taxing on with the personalities and everything that are involved. It's sad, but it's true.
So when did you guys first decide? Now, Lloyd, you hunt with a Garrett AT Pro, right?
We both do. Yeah.
You both do. Now, when did you first get your AT Pro?
When did they come out?
The first version? I'm not sure. I only started in the hobby like 3 years ago.
I think that was 09.
Oh, wow, 09.
Around then.
Me and Jeff, now we didn't know one another at the time, but me and Jeff obviously bought one when they first came out.
Oh, wow.
And I got away from it a little bit. Jeff got away from his a little bit too. But we both have AT Pros. I've actually got two. I picked up another one just to have a backup, and I'll never sell my AT Pro. But then we both have MindLab GPX machines, which is a pulse inducted machine, which is basically for Civil War hunting. And then we both this year bought the Equinox, and that's an amazing machine.
Which one did you get? The 600 or the 800?
We got the 600. I don't think that the kind of hunting that we do, I don't think the 800. And we don't use headphones, do we, Jeff? So we didn't need the 800s.
Yeah, we really didn't need the 800. And of course, I was kind of wanting to wait on the 800, but I couldn't. I couldn't wait. I had to get I went ahead and got the 600, and I'm not disappointed at getting the 600. I really like it, and it's going to take. I've got several years on the AT Pro, and I mean, I know it like the back of my hand. So it's going to take me quite a while to get the Equinox the same way. And then I had it was the Macro Racer 2, and for some reason I sold it. I don't know. I'm still trying to kick myself for it, but that's what I found the 3 box plates at the construction site with, and then was that Macro Racer, and then of course a good friend of mine's got it. So I mean, I'm glad, and he's finding a lot of good stuff with it.
Now, how long have you been using your 600s for?
Probably about 5 months, something like that.
Probably so, but we hadn't done a whole lot of it as well.
Yeah, we haven't. It's been hot, and during the summer we hadn't used it a lot. So
I got to ask you,
I found some pretty good stuff with it so far. I mean,
how deep has the stuff been that you have found with it?
I tell you, on my part, I found some deep stuff with it, but that machine is absolutely amazing in the way that it separates good targets from iron.
Ah.
I mean, there's nothing that I have ever used that will do what that does. And I'll let Jeff tell about the test that we did, a field test, in a moment. But here's one of my experiences that I had with it. I got a really, really good 12 number, real good repeatable tone all the way around. I dug down about 6 or 8 inches, and there was a huge square nail that was almost as big as my little finger laying there. And I thought, well, you know, the AT Pro will do that. It'll take those big pieces of iron and make them sound good every now and then. But I got that out and just happened to put my pinpointer in there, and I saw something shiny, and there was a war nickel, and that big nail was laying on the top of that war nickel, and it actually separated that out, and all I was hearing was the war nickel. And then Jeff can tell you about the field test that we did with the AT Pro and the XP Deus and the 600 Equinox.
Okay.
Yeah, we wasn't planning on doing the test. I mean, we were hunting, and excuse me, a good friend of ours, Will Johnson out of California, he was in on a hunt, and so I'd got the signal with the 600, and it was a faint tone. It wasn't ringing up real high, like a 9. And most of the time, like any lower number on any other machine is going to be iron, but this was a repeatable signal. So I called 7 over, and he couldn't. It was ringing up just solid iron on the AT Pro. And then Will, he had the Deus. And I don't know what he was running in at the time, but he couldn't pick it up. But he changed the settings on it. He could pick it up. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we ended up digging it, and it ended up being a little bitty piece of brass, probably about the size of a pencil lead. Pencil eraser. Wow. And, I mean, it could have been a cuff button. It could have been anything else. But, I mean, it picked it up real well. I mean, all the way around, it picked it up. But the AT Pro and the Deus didn't pick it up like that.
Oh. A buddy of mine, Jim, MD Melbourne, is in the chat right now. He picked up a Knox this year, and he's been to a field he hunted out with his other machines. And he tried one setting and found some more silvers that he thought weren't there. And then he tried the field 1 setting on it that Sebastian 9.2 binder told him about. He went there in a small, like 50 by 50 foot circle and pulled 6 more silvers out of that park. I don't know what setting you guys are running on your Knox.
Well, both of us were using Park 2, but I saw a video here recently, and a guy he had a test garden, and he had silver coins buried, and he was picking up those silver dimes about, I don't know, I'd say they were 12 inches deep, but he was picking them up better in Park 1 and Field 1. And the others were a little bit of a scratchy signal. So I'm just kind of going between you've got Park 1 and 2, and then you got Field 1 and 2. Okay. And I'm kind of going in between all of them right now and just hitting some spots. But, yeah, we've gone to spots that we've absolutely drained with our other machines. And we're finding stuff that we didn't find with them.
Mm-hmm. And right now I'm running in Field 2, and that's what I found that boot pistol with a couple weeks ago. And, of course, I mean, I'd been over that area, I mean, quite a few times with other machines, but it had so much trash in this area, I didn't pick that boot pistol up. Now, I mean, you get a little boot pistol, of course, it's fairly small, and you would think, well, it would pick it up, but with all the square nails and stuff laying around, the other machines missed it, and I found it with the Equinox. And it was probably maybe 5 inches deep.
And Mark Hoover put in the chat, Adventures in History, that Field 2 and Park 2 are better in mineralized soil, but they just don't go quite as deep. I didn't know that, Mark. I appreciate you. And everybody's learning about this machine. You know, they don't know anything about it, or I don't know near what I know about even the GPX, and I'm still learning on the GPX and everything. Hey, Mike, I was going to reach out to you and say something. If you want, I can I'm in my studio, and I can put in our call-in number just like our show, and people can call in and ask questions or chat if you want me to do that.
Sure. Hey, actually, I got your number right here. Let me pop it in the chat real quick. If you guys have any questions for Digging with 7 or Tennessee Jeff, go ahead and give them a call at this number I'm putting in, and you can He'll add you to the conversation, and we'll get your question answered for you. There it is. I think that's the right one.
I put it in too.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that's it. Show.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get to the chat.
You can't get to the chat?
I cannot.
Oh, you can't.
Not me.
Oh, you can't.
Just refresh on there and see if the chat comes up on yours, Jeff. We're talking about you on the chat. You got to get in the chat.
Yeah, people are saying all kinds of stuff about you, Jeff.
Oh man,
Yeah, I bet.
I wonder why isn't Jeff saying anything? You know, I mean, here they are they're just running him down in the woods, and he's not even saying anything. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah.
They're not saying anything bad.
That was like when it was me and Heath done the show. Of course, Mark said that they were running me and you to death since we didn't have. I couldn't get to the chat then, and then of course you wasn't even in town, so Mark said that they were picking on us on the chat.
That's just the way they are. That's the way they treat. And our motto is, Mike, that we're two rednecks with a metal detector. That's what's on our shirts that detectives.com carries for us. Put a plug in for Ken and Mark Guthrie, two great guys that we hooked up with that reached out actually to us and wanted to carry our line of shirts.
Cool. Hey, Seven, I just made you a mod. If you want to go ahead and put in that website for detectives, you go right ahead. It should come up in the chat. And now, do you guys belong to any clubs right now, or you guys just hunt alone?
No, I don't belong to any, and I don't think that Jeff does.
No, I do not. And see, when I first started metal detecting, I picked up that metal detector, and then, of course, I used it for a while, the metal detector of one of a friend of mine. And then I went out and bought a Ace 250. And, of course, I started hunting with it and found several things in my yard and stuff like that. And, of course, I mainly learned what I know by YouTube. I got on YouTube and was looking at all the relic videos, and of course I watched Aqua Chigger, some of his first videos, and there was a good guy, KC Steve, out of Kansas, and he had some great videos. And I just started learning relic hunting through that. And then, like, if I would find something, I would go back, and a lot of times it would be on one of their videos or somebody else's videos. It told what this relic was, and then I just learned all by myself with YouTube.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. YouTube has been a great help for identifying things. Well, Facebook has too. I mean, there's so much media out there now to help you out. It's wonderful. Now, Jeff, was the AT Pro your first machine, or did you have something else first?
No, it was the Ace 250, and then I used it probably about 3 months, and then I thought, well, the AT Pro come out, and then, of course, you know how it is. I've got to have it. And after I bought the AT Pro, now that's when I started finding relics. I'd walked through 2 Civil War campsites with that Ace 250, and I found 2 bullets with that Ace 250. But after that, when I got the AT Pro, I started finding bullets right and left. And I mean, I found the 6 plates with the AT Pro, and I'd walked over these with the cheaper machines.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you pay for what you get.
That's right. You know what? I was going to tell you guys. I noticed with that farm that I've been hunting for the last couple of years. I went there with the Pro and the Gold, and I thought I found everything. But I've only been back there 3 times this year with the Max, the AT Max, and I can't believe the things I'm pulling out of there now with the Max. Do you guys have any interest at all in the Max or no?
Well, I do. I'm really thinking about just getting one and see if I could use it for a little while from someone. And then, I mean, AT Pro is a great machine now. I never did like the Gold too much, but the AT Pro is a good machine, and I'm sure the Max is a great machine too.
I just think it's, I don't know, it seems like the AT Pro on steroids or something. It's just it seems a lot stronger for some reason. I don't know why.
But I mean, I would really like to have one. And I had the F-75 for a while, and that was a great machine. And the only reason I got rid of it is I had to get rid of it to buy the 4800, Minelab GPX 4800.
Now, do you guys still have all your machines, or?
got the AT Pro and GPX and Equinox. That's all I've got. I think that's all Jeff's got.
Yeah, I've got the GPX, the Equinox, and the AT Pro, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all should have 3 machines. That sounds good. I think I might have to get a Knox. I don't know yet, though.
And then when I first started hunting Culpeper in Virginia, I bought the TDI, the white TDI, and that was a good machine, but I didn't use it enough around here to justify keeping it. So, and then when I bought the GPX.
And Mark Hoover said that when he comes up here, you're welcome to use his Max.
Oh.
He's going to come up here and hunt with us sometime. And the thing I don't like about the AT Gold is the AT Pro is the frequency on it is 15 and the Gold is 18. And I don't like the tones of the Gold. It may get deeper, and I know a lot of people really love it. But Jeff's AT Pro was on the fritz, and he got a Gold while his was being fixed. And we hunted together, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the tones, and I don't think you liked it either, did you, Jeff?
I did. It was something about the tones, and I mean, of course, I guess it's pretty good for a gold machine, and that's what it actually come out for is a gold machine. But I mean, it's different. Now, there's a lot of people may love it, and I'm not saying it's a bad machine. I'm just saying I didn't prefer it.
I felt the same way. I didn't like it the first 2 weeks I used it. I probably used it like 10 times. But after a while, I got used to it, and I could understand what it was saying, and I liked it. It had the smaller coil on it too, the 5x8. So I hunted, an 1880s house with the AT Pro, went back with the Gold, and I found 10 more items I missed with the Pro. So I think if you use it a little longer, you might like it a little better. I don't know how long you guys actually used it for.
Not very long. See, that was probably the deal. We just didn't have it in our hands long enough to learn the machine, and I know it was probably a little bit deeper than the AT Pro, probably. And the one thing about the Gold that I really liked was the all metal mode.
Yeah.
And see, with the F75, the all metal mode, it had a slight difference in the iron sound from a square nail versus a bullet. It's kind of hard to explain. You just had to hear the subtle difference in the sound of it. And then, of course, it would dig, the F75 would dig bullets 12 inches deep, easy, if you just knew that sound.
Yep.
And our good friend Diggin with Deej is on here tonight, and she said that from what she's heard, the Knox is totally different from the Garrett. And it is. I mean, there's no doubt. But I tell you a secret that me and Jeff both share the same thought on this. If we're scouting and we're looking for a new colonial site or Civil War site or anything, I'd rather use the AT Pro because I can identify the square nails, I can hear them, and I can hear the good targets that are mixed in there. Now, I know that you can put the horseshoe on and go into all metal on the Equinox, but it's not as good a scouting machine to me, and that's probably because we've been doing it for so long with the AT Pros. We just know what that machine is saying. And that's the trick for anybody is if you've got a good machine, you've got to learn what that machine is telling you. And that's the secret to finding those good finds. They won't all be good numbers. They won't all be perfect sounds. But you begin to dig everything, and you get an understanding of what that machine is trying to tell you. That this is a good target, it's just hidden, or this is a good target, and it's just got a lot of iron around it. And whenever I started, and Jeff has helped me out on that. Jeff is not a lazy hunter. He'll dig almost any kind of signal that even halfway sounds good. Where I'll pass on some of those, and not using headphones. I remember one time we were at the Rockwall field where he found a War of 1812 button, and we found a lot of nice stuff. I found a cut real there. But anyway, I'm walking along with the AT Pro and working with it, and Jeff turned around to me and he said, "You just passed a button right there." And I said, "You think?" And he said, "Yeah." And I went back, didn't sound real good and everything, but I dug it. He was right,
Yep.
So So he's got me to dig in more iffy signals and finding more stuff because of it.
Hey, Steve in the Hull has a quick question. What do you guys use for pinpointers?
Garrett Carrot.
Yeah, both of us. Yeah.
Yep.
I love
And by the
mine.
way, guys, on our Relics Radio Facebook group page, we are giving away a Garrett Carrot sometime in November. But you have to buy a Relics Radio T-shirt and take a picture of yourself with that shirt and put it on that page, and we'll give you a number. And sometime in November, we're going to draw a random number generator number, and then somebody's going to win that. All right, if you come over and listen to Relics Radio on Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern on Spreaker.com, we will give you a shirt maybe, because we give one away every Thursday night. Generally give it to a caller that calls in. So, we do that, and I don't know, Jeff, we might give one away tonight if somebody calls in on Mike's show.
Yeah, you never know. We may do it.
We
But
put
one
that.
thing about the Garrett Carrot, of course, is a lot of people I've talked to, if they don't like it because they say it's too sensitive. And, any pinpointer, when you stick it to the ground, well, especially a Garrett, if you stick it to the ground, you'll get the interference of the minerals in the ground. Just wreak havoc on the pinpointer. Okay, it's got 3 settings. It's got low, medium, and high. And I run mine in medium all the time, unless when I go to Culpeper or anywhere in Virginia with the red dirt, I'll run it on setting 1. Because it's real sensitive.
Yeah.
The ground balance that pinpointer, you just click the button, just mash the button one time, and then stick it to the dirt, just mash the button one time. And I've seen a lot of people, they'll turn it off and then turn it back on and do that. All you've got to do is just hold the pinpointer to the ground and just smash the on and off button just real quick, and then it'll ground balance that way.
Yep. I love the Carrot for its 3 different sensitivities. I usually run mine on high, and if I go in a hole and it's everywhere, I'll turn it down to the lowest setting to pinpoint it exactly where it is, and it works out well.
Mm-hmm.
I've had mine for 3 years and not a trouble with it. I love it.
I've had mine probably about that long and hadn't had any trouble with it. Knock on wood. Tomorrow it may mess up, but
I've got 2 of the old black ones, and but I have a bad habit of taking my pinpointer and digging it in the ground with it after you get the hole open, And I actually wore all of the outside off of the tip of one of them and had to take some epoxy and put on it. It worked okay to do that. But Jeff's right. When you open up a hole, and if you're getting a signal everywhere in that hole, just kind of back off and touch your button and ground balance. And you may have to do that 2 or 3 times until you finally get close to it, And, of course, it's going to ring up on a nail, just like it's going to ring up on a large cent or a silver coin. So it doesn't have any discrimination.
now that's one thing I was thinking about, getting a probe that hooks into the metal detector, and of course that would be handy. I mean, it discriminates, so I just haven't done it yet. I know I've seen a couple of them for sale here lately, and I just haven't purchased one.
Cool. So what do you guys like best about the Knox? The separation that it gives you, or?
That's my big plus, is separation.
Separation.
It is mine, too. And we've had Debbie with Mind Lab on our show twice. We had her live at the Chattanooga Relic Show, and then I guess you, Jeff, and Heath had her whenever I was out of town. But, we've asked her, why is this machine so much better than a lot of others right now? And she said it's the multi-frequency. And you're just attacking the target with all of these frequencies that are running at the same time. And I'll add something to what Jeff said about the field test that we did with the AT Pro, the XP DAS, and the Equinox. Now, he found the signal with the Equinox. I came over with the Pro. It sounded it was all iron and real low iron, like around 15. And then the XP DAS came over, and he couldn't get it, but he knew it was there. So he started changing frequencies and eventually tuned his machine where he could get the signal. But, who's going to go out in the field and as they're walking along and with one swing change to this frequency and that frequency and that frequency. Why not have a machine that has all those frequencies at the same time running,
Right. Nice. So you guys plan on hunting more with the Knox then, more so than the Pro, or?
Well, actually, I think what we've decided right now, of course, our hunting season's just coming up right now, and of course we'll locate the home site or whatever campsite with the AT Pros or the GPXs, whatever we were using, and then we'll just clean up with the Equinox. And of course, the longer we use the Equinox, the better we're going to be able to learn it and tell more about it, and then we may just go straight to the Equinox every time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm ever going to go straight to just one detector because they each have their strengths. And I went out today at a spot that I've pounded with every machine that I've had. And I went back in with the GPX. It's Civil War count, 44 woods. And there's an iron place in this where it's just covered up with iron. If you know anything about GPX, you can't use it there. I went in there with a Knox and I found a few things that were there. I went back in today with my AT Pro and the little nail snake coil, and I found a couple of more bullets that were just hidden in a whole bunch of iron right there and a bunch of junk with that little bitty coil. Now, I may be able to do that with the Knox when we get the 6-inch coils for them. We don't, either one of us, we just have the stock coil on those right now. And you may be able to do that with that 6-inch coil, but each machine has its strengths, and if you hit a particular site with 2, 3, 4, 5 different machines, you're going to find something you missed with one of the other ones. No machine will find it all.
And I didn't really know how much iron mass target until I watched the Great Silver Horde that Jeff and Jeff Ford and Wes. Well, actually, Wes had found it and invited Jeff to go with him. And they would be silver coins 2 inches deep. And any machine they had could pick them up. And it's amazing how much the iron mass is.
Wow.
Hey, Mike, we got a call that came in. Last 4 numbers are 5503. Who have we got?
Yeah, hey, how you doing? It's February 22.
Hey,
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. I actually just had a question for you guys. I know you guys have used the AT Pro and Mike's used it a lot. I'm kind of new. I just started this year, and I got the H300, and I found some stuff with it. I like it, but I can't help but feel like I'm walking over and missing some targets like you guys were talking about. So I'm thinking about upgrading to an AT Pro, and I'm wondering if you guys all have a lot of time off this winter up here in Indiana. I'm kind of wondering if you guys can point me in the direction of some good reference videos or just any information on that I can study up on over the winter on how the machine works exactly, and just try to research everything so I can kind of have a better idea of what's going on.
Well, I can tell you what we do. We run ours in Pro Zero. This is the AT Pro. We run ours in Pro Zero, and we don't run any discrimination at all. We turn the iron audio off, and then the iron disc, we run it all the way down to 0, and then we just ground balance. Now, you hear everything. You hear every nail. You hear every piece of iron. But the iron, it puts the iron with a really low tone and kind of in the background. And when you get to a non-ferrous target, you're going to get a good repeatable signal. Now, you'll get a good repeatable signal on a horseshoe. It'll be around a 53 or something other. But, if you're a relic hunter, you want to dig those anyway because it could be a cannonball. It could be, as Jeff found, a revolver. It could be a gun barrel. And so you want to dig some of those, but we run ours wide open. And, my best advice to to anybody that has a new machine is when you get a new machine, open that thing up, because when you're putting some kind of discrimination on it, you're making the machine work really hard to knock out some things. And when you do, the best you can do, you're going to knock out some good targets. Now, I found a cut Spanish silver real that was down in the 30s and just barely a bleep and mixed in all kind of iron. But you've got to dig those signals. Now, it's going to take a lot of work, ain't it, Jeff?
It sure is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I dig them all anyway.
And see, I've noticed when, every machine I've had, all right, if I get a iffy signal, and then I'll maybe say, all right, we're talking about the AT Pro. Okay, the AT Pro, I'll get maybe a little beat, like a high tone or something, and I'll do circles around the target. And if I get more than 3 beats out of that target all the way around, I'll dig that target. They have to be even the little faintest beat. I mean, I'll still dig that target. And a lot of times there's a good target.
Yeah, even with the H300, I mean, I'll swing over a junky signal, and every once in a while I'll get a high tone or whatnot with it. And I dig it to see what it is. And there's so many nails and stuff in the ground. I know I don't think that machine does a great job of separating out targets. So, I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but just through experience with it, I've kind of learned, I mean, every once in a while there's going to be something good in there, with a nail or whatever. But there's so much iron in the ground around here, it's amazing.
Yeah. And see, I know they've come out with a lot of A-series detectors that I haven't used. Like you said, the 300, and I know they've come out with a 400. And, of course, I mean, when I bought my first AT Pro, that's when it was a game changer. It really was. I started digging what I wanted to find out relic hunting. And, yeah, it's a great machine. It really is.
Quick question for you guys.
Another one of our good friends is on chat here, History Hound Detecting. He's been on our show before. And he agrees. He said, run it wide open. Your brain, he says, is the final discriminator. And that's the best discriminator that you can have. You want to hear everything. But you can buy a used AT Pro now. And, I mean, that is a rugged machine. I've thrown mine everywhere. We've been in the water with it. We've been in the creeks. We've been in the lakes. And, I mean, it's like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps on going. And so I know that you can pick up a good AT Pro for probably around $250. And you will not be disappointed with that machine. I guarantee you that. Out of all the machines that I've got, and we got a ton of money tied up in machines, that is probably still my go-to machine is AT Pro. And I think if Jeff told the truth, he'd say that too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Is that Equinox 600 waterproof as well?
Yeah, it's waterproof.
Let me ask you this. If someone asked you if they wanted to buy a new machine, which one would you tell them to buy, the Equinox 600 or the AT Pro?
It just depends. It depends on what kind of budget do you have, how much money can you spend, and also what kind of terrain are you going to hunt. And, I don't think anybody can tell anybody which machine. If I could, I'll tell you this much. If I could only own one machine, it's not the best machine that I've got, but if I could only own one for every every type of hunting that me and Jeff do, it'd be the AT Pro. I'd let everything else go. I wouldn't want to because, you can dig those deep Civil War bullets with a GPX, and you can find those war nickels with a big iron square nail on top of them with an Equinox. Mm-hmm. But day in and day out, the AT Pro is a great machine.
I've been telling everybody the same thing. For an all-around machine, you can't beat it, and it's easy to learn. I mean, I found it easy to learn anyways.
It is. It's and especially if you've got an A series right now.
That's
you just walk.
What I'm leaning towards. So.
So
Yeah, you'll just walk right in on that one then. You're not going to have any problem.
does your does your 300, does it have discrimination like does it have all metal mode and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's got a clean mode. It's got a custom mode that you can discriminate out certain things.
So it's got three modes.
There's like five.
Okay. All right. That's like the A650. It had three, and then of course, I'm sure with the new A series they've added a few more. Now I know I think it was the 400 or 450. It had almost the same modes as the AT Pro.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking to be able to get into the water, as well. So there's a lot of creeks and stuff around here that I think I might do well in.
I'll tell you what.
Just like 7. Yeah, I'm just like 7. If I had one machine to keep, that would be it. The AT Pro.
Hey, Hoosier.
I'm on the road with.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the call. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for talking with me, guys.
Yeah.
Hoosier, get the AT Pro. You won't regret it, sir.
All right, Mike. I'll do it.
Cool.
Talk to you guys later.
Now, you see what kind of people we are, Mike. We just come in and we just take your show over.
Oh, that's fine. That's great. Actually, Hoosier Hillbilly was the other guy I was out in the field texting pictures to, Loy, when you on Saturday.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
Brown.
I'm sorry about
Is not
that.
available. At the tone.
That was on my side. I'm sorry.
No problem. Very entertaining.
Yeah, you could have just blamed it on me, and I wouldn't even known it.
I was going to click his call off, and I actually clicked it to call him back. So, my bad.
Hey, it's all a learning experience. It's all in good fun. So you guys are just getting into your hunting season now, then you're saying, huh?
Yeah. Y'all are about to wind down, aren't you, up there?
It all depends. Like 2 years ago, I could hunt till the end of January, but last year I was done by the end of November. It was frozen.
Oh man.
So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
We don't have too much of that down here. Now, I remember 1 year, Jeff, that was the year I located the picket post. I went one day and out from the camp that I've hunted for 5 years, I guess now, and was just trying to find picket posts around that place. And I found a couple of Civil War bullets, so I knew that there was something around there. And it came up a thunderstorm, and it was raining cats and dogs, so I got in the car and went back home. It was a couple of days later whenever I came back, but that was a cold front that came in, and I mean it was cold. It froze the ground. But I went back out there, and I don't know, it was probably 18 degrees, and went back out there, and I got a signal, and I went to dig it, and I tried to put my shovel in the ground. It wouldn't go in, and so I took my lash tool and stuck it in the ground, was hitting it with my shovel, and I thought, man, I'm gonna tear all my stuff up. So I just quit and went home and I got a hammer and chisel, and it took me 4 hours to dig 3 Gardner bullets. And I thought, I'm just gonna throw down a flag and wait till all this mess straightens out and thaws out and everything, So I don't envy you guys having to face those hard winters like that with the ground froze.
Yeah, it stinks. I mean, 2 years ago, I only had to take 2 months off, but last year I had to take about, I think, 5 to 6 months off. Until it finally thawed out.
Man.
Yeah,
Good
it's
bad.
awful. Time to take some trips down south this winter, I think.
Yeah, it's a good time to do research too. Whenever you're off like that, and or get all your stuff together and all your equipment, go through it, make sure everything's in working order, pick up new stuff, meet new people, all those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm going to try and set up a bunch more get-togethers for next year. Me and Wildman, he's in the lodge right here, is in the thing. We went with the Boy Scouts a few times this year, and we're going to hook up with the 4-H camps next year to go teach a new group every week if we can, and then see if we can do some more Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts stuff.
How many different people do you hunt with in your group up there?
all depends. I've been out with Wildman Lodge this year most of the time. It's great having a partner to hunt with. A lot more fun. I'm having a ball this year. But I've hunted with CT Relic Digger a couple times. I've hunted with Steph from the Stealth Digger group. I've hunted with Steve Hull from the Stealth Digger group. Probably like 8 or 9 different people this year. But I really don't hunt with anybody. No groups. Just most of the time it's just Wildman's Lodge.
Yeah. I'd love to get up there. There's so many people that I have met. You know, I haven't met them in person, but Keebler was, Mr. Keebs was our first guest on our show. And he's given me an open invite to come up there and hunt with them, and I'd love to get up there in that true colonial stuff, but it is just so far. It takes me and Jeff 10 hours to get to Virginia.
Wow.
And I mean, we're wore out by the time we get there and hunt and then get back home. I can only imagine trying to drive to New Hampshire or Connecticut.
Right.
It'd be rough. How is getting permission up that way? I mean, can you just knock on the door? Can I hunt your property? And
I'll tell you what I do most of the time. I go knock on the door, and usually it's in my town here, and I tell them I lived in town my whole life. I say, I'd like to give you one of these just for a quick moment of your time. And they focus on this thing so much, they just says, yeah, go ahead, have at it. I've only had one no this year so far, so I can't complain. For me, it's pretty simple.
yeah, that's good. Now, the farms up there, they're pretty good size, right? Or
Oh, yeah.
you hunt? Okay. And see, once you get a big farm like that, I mean, it's endless. You can hunt that one farm for the rest of your life and still find stuff.
Yeah, me and Rick just got one now, and we couldn't even finish the hay fields this summer, and now they're cutting the corn now, and there's no way we're going to be able to do all that this year. Not even in the next 10 years. The farm's so big, you know?
Yeah. And see, down here, I mean, it's growing up fast, and I've got a couple of farms. My best colonial site, I mean, it's 200 acres, and of course, for my lifetime, it's always going to be that 200 acres. But I mean, like my infantry camp out here, I mean, sooner or later, it's going to be a subdivision. Of course, it's right on the lake, and I mean, people's ready to throw some money out for this property, so I'm sure it's going to be gone sooner or later.
It might as well be. We found everything that's there, just about.
Well, see if I can talk him into turning it under one more time.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, plowing the field one more time.
That brings stuff up.
Yeah.
But you really have to go slow there to find anything, because that place has been absolutely pounded.
And buy some good relic hunters, too.
Yeah, sure has.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys ever do make it up here to New England, you want to make a week out of it so you can hunt with a few different people if you can.
Yeah. If we ever come, we'll have to stay a week because it'll take us a day to rest up from going there, and then it'll take us another day or two to rest up from getting back. But yeah, we come. We want to hunt with everybody that we can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm all about flying. I would fly, but Seven, he doesn't really want to fly. He's flown a bunch, but I guess it's changed his mind. He doesn't really want to fly anymore.
Always take a train.
No. I'm not taking no train. And Stephen Hull said, come up and play guitar. Yeah, I'd like to come up and play with some of you guys. You guys are good musicians.
Oh, thanks. Well, I appreciate that.
The only thing I can bring was the Native American flute. I play it quite often.
Oh, nice. You don't see that too often.
No, you don't. I found one fairly cheap. I mean, they get expensive, and I found one fairly cheap, and I went ahead and bought it. Of course, I always wanted one, and then I started learning how to play it, and I guess it's like a tattoo. You get one, you got to get another one. If you get, and then so on, so on. So now I've got 4. So.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, Wildman's Lodge just put in there. I forgot about this. We have a place that used to be a Boy Scout camp, but a millionaire owns it now. It has a 16,000 square foot house and 2 guest house. He says you guys are more than welcome to stay in the guest house if you want, and bring your friends up and do some hunting. Not only was it a Boy Scout camp, but it was old colonial site. That's where I found the powder flask and the ox knob and the ox shoe and stuff. So we got a free place for you to stay if you guys ever come up.
great.
It does.
All right, I'm packing my bag.
You heard him, Wild Man.
Jordan Anderson put on there in the chat that I can remember back when the only mode of transportation was trains, and I didn't want to ride them anymore. I remember horse and buggy days.
Oh my God. That's too funny. Wow. So you guys, got any plans to go anywhere, or just gonna be hunting around your area this winter?
You want to get that done? Yeah. I mean, it's just like we go with the flow. I've got some good maps of counties south of us, well, south of me, which is a bit of Middle Tennessee, and we may try to hit them this winter. And of course, we have to watch deer season. Deer season's coming upon us too, and we have to make sure there's no deer hunters. But yeah, I've got some good maps of. Actually, they were found in a diary, and then they were sketches of. Well, we camped here this such and such day, then we camped here, and then Red camp over here. And but anyway, hopefully we can get down south and try to locate these places.
Awesome.
And we got a couple of guys down there, Ron and Tim, the Dig Dogs, and we get to go down there and hunt with them every now and then. And there's a lot of Civil War history and a lot of Civil War activity there in Middle Tennessee, more so than Kentucky. We just don't have that much here. But they had a lot of it there in Middle Tennessee. And they've got a lot of colonial stuff, too. I mean, that was all settled a little quicker than it was here. So you got more of the old history.
Gotcha.
But when you do find a good colonial site up there, it's a good one because they've been there several years, and you had people to pass through and stay the night and so on and so on. So, I mean,
Yes, it's amazing when you find a place, especially if no one's ever hunted there before. You can get almost every kind of relic out of that one place. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and we don't have any hunters up here. We don't have hardly anybody that metal detects up here in my area. So whenever I stumble onto, we don't have any maps to identify those. You just have to take your detector and your feet and just go to walking and swinging, and you'll eventually find one. You know, I found 4 in one area, and, when you hit them, everything is there. Nothing's been taken off of it, and it's amazing what you find. I think my record probably was 30-something flat buttons off of one site in one day, and I found 4 reals on the place, and they didn't have a whole lot, but what they had is still there.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's one good thing we're blessed with is the reals. We have the reals down here, so we don't have too many large stands.
Mm-hmm.
No, not too many at all. You got to go to Ohio to find those.
Yeah, or Missouri. I've seen Plugmaster Ford just pull one.
Yep, sure did.
I don't know about you guys.
They're rare over there in Missouri too.
Yeah, that's where they have all those silver hordes too. I heard.
Yeah. Could you imagine Mike running in on that?
I'll tell you what, it was funny because they went on a live stream one night to talk about the horde and stuff, and they're getting ready to get off the air. They said, any other questions before we get up the air? I said, that's now or never. So I type in the chat, hey Jeff, what are the chances you want to give away one of them silver coins tonight? and then Wes saw it and said, hey Chris, let's do that. Chris says, yeah, we get one from each pile. So then they ended up giving them away, and Chris and Wes made them pick the date, but Jeff says, hey Mike, this one's for you. And he sent me a Benjamin Franklin half. I was so happy to have a piece of that horde.
Yeah, that's what I've got out of it, is a Franklin half. I'm
nice.
tickled to death to have a piece of it.
Isn't it?
No, they came down to Middle Tennessee because I've got an article that's coming out in American Digger magazine on the Great Silver Horde, and I had them come down and we did some photo shoots and everything, and interviews and what have you. And when they came down, they gave us each a silver coin out of that. And by the way, that article will be in the January-February issue of American Digger magazine.
I know, I've been looking forward to that for the last 4 months now.
Yeah.
I gotta wait a few more and we'll be able to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
That was the weekend they brought the display cases down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was funny. Of course, Jeff had asked me a couple of years ago, well, would you be interested in a display case? And I was like, well, not right now. And then, of course, then Seven called me. It was this past summer, and then was like, well, Jeff asked if we wanted these display cases, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll take one of them. And these display cases, they're not just a regular display case. These are, 5 foot tall and 8 foot long?
They're monsters.
They are monsters and full of glass. I mean, I bet it had 400 pounds of glass in each case.
Oh my God.
So here they loaded them up and put them in a horse trailer, and on the way here, I don't know what, they'd hit a bump or something, and every piece of glass in them display cases broke.
Oh my God.
And so here I've got a building full of display case parts, and then I finally got enough glass where I can put one of them together. So, and then of course once I get about 4 big guys out here to help me move it, I'll put it in the house. So.
I don't know if I'm going to be one of those. Those things are absolutely monsters.
Yeah, it's like I'm going through that now. It's like, how big of a display case should I go? You know, I just keep finding more and more stuff, and it just keeps growing and growing. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know it. It's hard. You want to display everything, but I mean, unless you have a museum, you're going to run out of room sooner or later. And of course, I started getting the Riker boxes and stuff, and of course, that's what I plan on just filling it up with as soon as I get everything the way I want it.
Hey, Mike, before, I don't know what time you're aiming to close the show out or anything, but I'm putting it in the chat here. Who's your Hillbilly 22? If you will send me an email to digginwith7@gmail.com with your address and your shirt size, me and Jeff and detectees.com with Ken and Mark, we'll make sure that you get a Relics Radio t-shirt.
Awesome, Lloyd. I appreciate that. If you can go ahead and put the Detectees website in there again, that'll be great too. And don't forget, people.
I tried to put that in there a while ago, and it didn't go through for some reason.
Huh. And they do have hoodies.
How do you spell it?
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to buy a hoodie.
Oh, there it goes. Detectees.com.
Yeah, there it is. Gotcha.
Awesome.
And they'll make a shirt for your club. They'll make a shirt for anything that you have. And if you guys have not listened to our show and heard their commercial that we did for them, you're missing something, ain't they, Jeff?
They sure are. It was a great. What did you think of that commercial at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. Mike, you've heard that commercial, haven't you?
I did, but I can't remember it offhand right now.
Well, Jeff Ford is the voice behind that commercial.
Okay.
And he is absolutely amazing in doing that.
Man of a million voices.
Awesome.
Yes.
Where can people see the commercial?
It is it's on our show.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'll play it real quick.
No, go ahead, play it. That'd be great. I love Jeff's channel. I love it when he does the voiceovers on other people. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's
Especially Quarter Horder. It's my favorite.
I'll play it here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Seven, we're looking good in our new Relics Radio t-shirts.
Yeah, Ken and Mark Guthrie of Detectees.com done brought them to us.
Yep. And they make other shirts, too.
Yeah, boy. Detectees.com can handle keys for your club, or any other promotion folks may have.
They even got the Wide Pride shirts.
Yeah, them boys does some manatee crawl.
Yeah, scooting on their bellies.
That's what I said. The manatee crawl.
Looks like slugs eating jelly.
So whether you hunt horizontal or vertical, tell the folks where they need to go, TJ.
www.detectees.com.
That was awesome. And that's all. That's all, Jeff Ford.
That's all Jeff Ford.
Oh my gosh, too funny.
I came up with the idea. It hit me about 2:00 in the morning that we needed to do a new commercial for them, and I came up with the idea. And I got up early the next morning and I shot him a message and I said, "I've got a new one that I want you to do for us." Because Heath Jones and Ken and Mark Guthrie and Butch Holcomb, they all call themselves Wide Pride because they're big old boys, you know. And Heath Jones gets down on the ground on his belly whenever he goes to dig a plug. And, you know, everybody said it looks like a manatee on the ground, you know. And so they started calling it the manatee crawl. And so we just put all that together. And it's hilarious. It's the best commercial we've got on our show.
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt from laughing so much. That's too funny.
And we've got people on the show that admit we don't like the radio show. We just come in to listen to that commercial.
Oh my God, that's too funny. That is awesome. Well, Seven, I do appreciate you guys coming on tonight. And make sure everyone tunes in on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Relics Radio on Spreaker.com and check out this week's guest. Who are you having this week?
We've got Earl from Virginia. He's a Civil War hunter. We got to meet him, and I got to meet him and hunt with him in the spring. And also, me and Jeff both have a YouTube channel. Mine is Diggin with 7, and his is Tennessee Jeff. So check out our YouTube channels.
Yeah. Earl and I, we've been friends for quite a few years now, and I've actually hunted with him a few times. So he'll be a good guest.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Mike, we really appreciate you reaching out to us and letting us come on here and act stupid and silly and everything. We're two rednecks with a metal detector.
I can't thank you guys enough. I've been waiting for this to hear your guys' story for a long time. I've been meaning to ask you guys to do this. I haven't done any talk shows in quite a while. And says I think I better start up again. So I appreciate you.
This is my first one. I know guys on a couple, but
oh really?
First one. Yeah, it sure is.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and it's an honor to have you on here, Tennessee Jeff. And Lloyd, Diggin with 7. It's I can't believe you can do this on such short notice too. I really appreciate it. But if anybody else has a question,
we do it, or I do it 2 or 3 times a week. Heath Jones called me last week or week before last on their podcast. He called me 10 minutes before and said that their system was messed up and would I host their show that night. And I said, yeah, but I'll have to put all the stuff in and get it up here. And I got it all up, and he said, have you put a title in yet? And I said, no. And he said, well, don't worry. He said, you got 15 seconds till showtime. We're used to doing things on the fly.
Oh my God, you guys are great at it. I tell you, anytime there's a little technical difficulty, you guys seem to fix it right away. So you guys do a great job there.
Yeah, well, see, that's why 7 runs the show, because if it happened to me, I don't know what would happen. I'd just have a heart attack, I guess. I mean, my Skype messes up, and I'm a nervous wreck.
Right. You guys ever think you'll do a video live show, or?
I don't know. We've toyed around with the idea. We're not going to drop our podcast and go into video. But we may do some special shows or something other, you know,
that'd be nice.
And try it a little bit. But I like the format of the podcast because people listen to it.
Yep.
And we've both got a face for radio, so that kind of...
I hear you. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on tonight. I do appreciate it. And I'm glad everyone showed up in the chat tonight to hear their story as well. But I'll talk to you guys soon, and I appreciate you calling in, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday.
All right, thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great week.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye. All righty, guys. That was Diggin with 7 and Tennessee Jeff. If you're not subscribed to their channels, get on over there and get subscribed. They do a great job metal detecting. I love it when they find the history and pull it out and then do a little story on the object they find and where it came from and how it was made and all this stuff. Thank you, DK. I do appreciate that. I'm looking forward to your next talk show as well. Hey, HD Shovelhead is in the house too. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight on short notice. And I'm glad we were able to get 7 on and Tennessee Jeff and hear their story on how they met and what got them into metal detecting. Learned a lot of information, so I want to thank them again. And if you guys are looking for a cheap machine, that all-around purpose, you can't beat the AT Pro. You heard it live from them too. Oh, You're more than welcome, Seven. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that. Brett, appreciate it. Thank you there, K. What? Joe Brown. Hey, Joe, did you ever get your, I think you said you got your neckerchief slide I sent you. That's okay being late. I appreciate you stopping by anyways. I just wanted to get Loy on here real quick and just to hear his story. I've been wanting to do it for a while now. Just haven't had the time. It's been a busy summer hunting and everything. But all right, guys, I'm gonna call it quits. We've been on for over an hour. Oh, hour and 20 minutes make that. So I don't want to make this too long so people can watch the replay. And hey, thank you there, Michael. I appreciate it, Canadian Relic Hunters. And hey, thank you, Part Time Detector. We'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by, Clayton Country History Hound. Appreciate it. Oh, and Ben as well, History Hound Detecting. Everyone, thanks for stopping by tonight. Well, we'll see you soon. Tune in Friday. I'll be live again. I picked the 2 winners of those copper rounds. Make sure you get back to, if you haven't done it yet, get back to last Friday's live stream and leave a comment. As if your name is picked, which one of these you would like, the Walker or the SLQ. Let me know. We'll tune in Friday night. We'll pick a winner live and show you what the next 2 copper rounds are up for grabs. All right, everyone have a good night, good week. I'll be posting a video probably Wednesday sometime with my hunt with Stephen Hull this weekend. So tune in and check that out. It was a great hunt, and we had a lot of fun. All right, see you guys soon. Take care.